I mean, it's a 2013 Ford Mustang 5.0 with a Coyote motor in it. We're going to be doing the long tube headers, some eBay headers, and a BBK Xpipe. And it's a little aggravating, and it takes so long. We're going to do it in 2, maybe 3 episodes. I'm not sure how I'm going to have to separate it up. But here's episode 1 coming at you. Let's get at it. I know there's a lot of noise going on here in the shop, so it's going to be a lot of voiceover, pictures, and step-by-step stuff. I'll draw on the pictures as best I can to run you through the process. Alright, as you can see, we got the battery box out, all the trim stuff, the intake out, simple stuff. Now you have to recover the air conditioning system, the Freon out of the AC system. So I got the machine hooked up, going to recover that out. And the reason being is, let me see if I can see down there. Let me grab a flashlight. There we go. These lines right here, these AC lines right here, actually get in the way of the front bolts on the exhaust manifold and get into it. So you gotta fit in, you got that one way down there in the middle. It's that nut way down there in the middle. You gotta remove that nut and pull this line out of the way. Pull this line right here out of the way. As far as the top 4 exhaust manifold bolts, I came in from the top. As you can see, there's the AC line right there in the middle of the screen that I unhooked, and you see I got it just hanging out up here. All right, and you can get down in here. When you're doing it, make sure you watch out for this AC line here. Don't bend it up, don't mess it up. It goes right down there and it's soldered at that little junction down there. But I did do it from the top. As far as the top 4 manifold bolts, I used a 3/8 drive deep socket with a broke neck long handle ratchet. I'm going to lift the car up. Oh, also this nut way down there, you see that right there? I had to take that nut off. It's one of the mount bolts. Alright, and that's the reason I had to support the engine, because of that nut right there had to come off. Alright, and I'm going to go up under the car. I'm going to lift the car up and get up under it, and we'll take the rest of those the bolts for that mount that are bolted to the block, take those out and get that mount out of our way, get the rest of the manifold bolts out of the way, and hopefully wiggle this thing out of here. Alright, let me get this thing lifted up. You see these holes here? This is where the lower mount holes are. There's another one back behind here I'm not going to be able to get a good shot of, but as you can see, the starter's out. Went ahead and pulled the harness down off the oil pan to give me some room, some little wiggle room in here, and run to the car, right side. Get this out of the way, and we're going to come back in just a second, and you'll see the bottom parts of this manifold and how easy it is to get out, hopefully, once that's out of the way. So, give me a second, and I'll be right back. Alright, here's that other bolt on the back side of that bracket, the mount bracket that's bolted to the block. You can see there's a little grounding strap under that nut. That nut's got to come off first. Then we can pull the stud out just like we did on the other ones. So I just wanted to throw that in there so you can see what I'm talking about. See that cable there? Yeah, it's got to come off first, and then we can get the stud out. I'm accessing it from the front of the steering rack and pinion and going from the front of the car back instead of from behind the engine going forward. And you can just slide your hand up in here. You can use a wobble socket or a regular socket with an extension and get in there and reach it. Alright, to get enough slack, let's see if I can hold this. There we go. Alright, to get enough slack in the ground cable you see off to the left of the screen that goes up behind this bracket, you got to take a bolt out of the alternator. Let's see if I can get my hand up in here. You got to take a bolt out of the alternator right here. And there's another one that's on the back of the alternator. Actually, the back of the AC compressor. And you got one right here you got to take loose, and it releases this bracket, and it'll help you get enough slack in that ground cable to remove it from the stud. Alright, so we got that mount out of the way, and as you can see, here's the ground cable that was having some little issues with getting to.
Yes, sir.
And we got the 4 nuts on the bottom of the manifold right there. And the manifold should be ready to come out. So let's get those out and see what happens.
Better send that.
And for those of you that are trying to skip taking this bar out, which I tried, this is the reason you got to take it out. That primary is going to wind up hitting the bar when it's trying to come out. So we got all the nuts off the... Stop. So we got all the nuts off the studs, and it won't come out because of that bar here. Go ahead, Brandon. Look at that. That's beautiful. Oh. All right, so we got the long tubes in here. Went ahead and tightened down the 4 bottom studs. Now, with the long tubes, this is the mount. This is the engine mount. This is the bracket mounts, and it comes over here to the engine. The distance here is very small, so I got a screw jack to lift the engine up high enough to get that in there. All right, so we're gonna have to lift this up another inch or so, slide that in there, and then use these bolts. I'm gonna go ahead and get this back in and get these bolts going,